GM, and welcome to the Soul Brothers podcast, the finest podcast on Solana, with my dear friend Ino and myself, Simon, where it's our job to throw you guys into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to help you stay on top of the latest and greatest on Solana so that you never run out of things to talk about. Ugh, Simon, oh shit! That's the first time I fucked up an intro in a while.
You need to do your part again, my friend.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
You good? You want to go with this one?
No, I
This
like
goes
the
out?
yeah, I like the
We keep it
bloopers.
natural.
Yeah, I like the bloopers a little bit. You know, it's like I'm human. I fuck
Okay.
up. I'm not perfect.
Okay. That's fine. That's
Um,
fine from you. That's good. How you
dude,
doing, man? How's it going? You?
tired, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like
What time is it?
it's only 5:30. It's not too late. I mean, you just got done with your workout for today, right?
That's true. Yeah, I literally just came back from the gym. Still have a pump
I
in my
see.
legs.
You still got the pump. I am in Japan and I won this at the machines today, so that's a lot of fun.
No, wow.
So I guess
That's huge.
yeah,
Man. Congrats.
yeah.
That's W.
Thanks.
Drop a W for
Uh,
Eno right now if you're listening to this in the live stream. GM, everyone.
But yeah, I mean, you know, this isn't even on the agenda at all. But I just kind of want to
Mm.
cover. I'm sorry. I know we did not talk about this before. I'm totally
Uh-oh.
springing this on you. What do you
Uh-oh.
think about the Soulflare rebrand? I just have to ask. It's not on the agenda. I'm
Yeah.
just genuinely curious.
Oh,
Yeah.
huge topic. So for everyone who doesn't know, Soulflare, one of the leading Solana wallets, just rebranded completely. They changed their logo, they changed their coloring, they changed the UI of their browser extension and their mobile wallet. So a lot of changes, and they kind of rolled out this campaign, this teaser that already hinted at something that's coming. And then last week they kind of pulled the trigger and did the rebrand, and it changed from the traditional Soulflare kind of color splash. That's how I always describe the old logo, like a red color splash. And that's kind of the OG logo, and it's changed to this new how do you call this thing that knights have on their weapons? Like I don't know the English word for that. It's like
it's a
like
coat
every
of arms.
family has a
Yeah, it's a
probably
coat of
that's the word.
arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone has this coat of arms if you're a family in the I don't know, in that part of history. I'm so bad at this. And then this is basically how the new logo looks like, right? This yellow kind of icon. Me personally, I think it's pretty dope. I like it a lot. I like the UI of the extension as well. I like what they did to the wallet, to the actual product. It looks pretty dope. There is a reason why they did the rebrand that goes a bit beyond of just rebranding.
Mhm.
And this is speculation, but there's, I think, a product coming that is new for Soulflare at some time.
Oh.
But that's just me speculating. But I think because look at it, you have one chance usually to do a big rebrand as a company.
Mhm.
You don't do this twice. You don't do this 3 times. Otherwise, you confuse your audience. Like Meta
Yeah.
did one big rebrand from Facebook to Meta. That's it. That's all they can do. They can't pull this off again, right? Software, same thing. They do it one time. They have one shot, and they have to do it at a strategic moment in time where it benefits some broader kind of agenda. And I think that's what they're doing, and I like it.
I see. I hate it.
Perfect.
But-
I love how we always complement each other.
But to be fair, I also hated the Lula rebrand, right? Like, so
Right.
Lula was previously Flexlend, and Lula was the original name, and then they moved to Flexlend, and they were like, psych, we like the original name again. And I know who was responsible for that, Maurice. I know that was all you. And I will capitulate and say that I was wrong about the Lula rebrand. I actually think it was a stroke of genius. Like, they have over 100 million in deposits right now. Numbers don't lie. It's a very friendly name. And so, like, I have a history of fading rebrands. Like, I know I have a problem with rebrands. Yeah. It's like a psychological thing at this point where it's like, it could be the best rebrand in the world, and I would still be like, nah, hate it. It's shit. And I just think that my brain doesn't do well with change in that way, especially for brands. So again, I hate the Soulflare rebrand. I do like the UI and UX though. Like, I actually do like the product itself. So I want to separate those two. It's like there's a difference between like the new products, right, and kind of the feel of the app, which is different and better. But then there's also like the brand image, which is separate, which I hate. But also, I was wrong about Lulo. I think I was personally, you know. So I I think that if you give me a couple months, I'll be like, I like it, you know.
Exactly. That's actually what happens a lot psychologically with rebrands. Like people are initially hesitant because they still stick to the old brand. They're like, oh, I don't want it to change. I'm used to this. I looked at this for years. It feels so familiar. I want the old brand back, because we don't like change. Like, that's just something in our human psychology. But then
Yeah.
at some there's a tipping point where the old brand becomes old in your mind and the new one is kind of fresh and this new shiny thing, and you're like, okay, this actually looks fresh and new, and this is a new ID for that, a new brand ID for this company. And I think it happened to everyone. For me, it happened already, like this tipping point. But so yeah, software, big win. But we got a lot of other things to cover. There's so much stuff I want to talk about. So I think without further ado, we should kick it off. What do you think?
Yeah, we got to kick it off into the coziest part of the podcast. It makes you feel like you're at home, and we're going to be looking at a little bit of TA. Ooh, this week, Simon, I'm looking for it's not so blood red this week. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Well, I mean, the podcast is timed perfectly. I was waiting for exactly this little wick to the upside that we saw last night when I was sleeping.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly. Oh, actually, it's the wrong screen. That's exactly what I was looking for. So let's just pull up TradingView here.
Sure.
Okay. We like to zoom out at the beginning, right? So let's just zoom out and take a full glance of this beautiful Solana chart that has been going, well, pretty sideways since a while now. But right now we're in this bear trap, as people like to call it, right? So we've kind of heard people call it a bear trap several times, because usually this is how it looks like. You have a big run up that kind of creates bullish momentum, and then you have a pretty aggressive pullback here, where people get scared, right? And people are, and it, like, I'm pretty sure you heard it as well. People are asking, are we going to see another high? Like, is this the bear market? Are we, is the bull cycle over? We heard it so many times, and it's coming. And I still don't have a definite answer, right? I'm not mocking these questions, like that. Those are legit questions, but this is a very traditional, typical behavior in kind of this ecstatic upside market that we've been in since a while. And we need to see that pullback. And the pullback wasn't even that deep. It wasn't even that deep yet. If you look at this chart from here right now, like we merely pulled back to the lows here from August 24, which is a while back, but it's like, compared to where we've been here, it is not a huge drawdown. Why do people get so scared of this? We're in crypto, guys. Like, it's not even like this. Like, we saw the high here, we went down, and we dropped like 60%, and it's just another Tuesday in crypto, guys. Like, why are you so scared? Anyway, let's look at the good things here. Let's look at the positives, because this looks pretty exciting. We've seen the bottom potentially. Here on the 11th of March ish, which was this price right here, $110, $111 ish. And I was already calling this the bottom since a while, with the probability leaning towards further upside, right? And local bottom in. There's still this white scenario that you see on the chart still, which is kind of, pull down, recovery to the upside, then a big aggressive pull down, which was a third wave to the downside. And then usually the fourth wave is a corrective structure, kind of correcting sideways, and then another breakdown to the last bottom. But, we broke this beautiful symmetric triangle formation to the upside, which is a pretty bullish signal. And it also is aligned with my wave count, that is the bullish wave count, which is we are in a third impulsive wave to the upside. And I've been waiting for this breakout here in this yellow line that people can see on the screen. So there's a support line in a triangle formation. Triangle usually means we have higher lows and lower highs, basically, that are forming, right, over a course of a couple of days. And then we're waiting for a decision point where the triangle breaks to the up or downside. And we saw the break to the upside. We see we are in a third wave. A third wave can have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure, or an ABC. And we're right now on the C wave, A, B, C. So the C wave to the upside is what happens right now. It usually surpasses the A wave, and it could top out any moment here. So basically, I have this green target range right now in my chart, which is between 137 and 148-ish dollars for the Solana price. And this would be the target range for the current impulsive wave. So I wouldn't really go in a long trade right now, because we might already saw the top of this current, upside momentum, and we are technically due again for a small recovery, right? So it could be it could look like this, that we're right now in the third wave. It topped out already. We kind of, because we fulfilled the requirement, we're in the target range, and we could now see another recovery. We might retest that would be realistic. We might retest the triangle from the upside at some point in time, and then continue to the upside. So this is kind of my favorite scenario because it looks nice. It makes sense. It means prices go up, which is something we like, right? So if we continue this path, then we are basically on the way again to $160, $180 ish in the short term right now, which could happen over the next week, depending on obviously some of the fundamental news, because there is a few things in the macro economy right now, obviously, that are going on that I didn't touch on right now, which we need to observe because there are some decision points, including tariffs, SEC decisions, monetary policy in the US, and so on. But yeah, pretty good outlook overall. So I'm happy with the chart. What do you think? Are you happy with the chart?
Yeah. I am very happy with the chart. I know I always say, like, look, guys, if you're thinking too short-term price action, pivot to long-term price action. But that doesn't mean that I don't like to see a green week. Of course I love to see. Of course I love to see. So it's more like it is true. You need to be looking more at the long term, and what's really interesting to me is that when I have conversations about the long-term strategy for Sanctum and like getting people to stake their soul, one of the basic assumptions that we have is once Sol gets to $500 or $1,000, then stake Sol won't be so sticky because people will be selling off. But I think that's what's interesting about that is the kind of the logic behind it is like almost baked into our strategy is the assumption that Solana will get to 500 or 1,000 someday, right? Which is why we need to get more institutional stake because that capital is way more sticky. And so this is all just to say very bullish and still bullish and have always been bullish.
Perfect. That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear. And I think there's a few things that are in the macro economy right now that are going on that are always supporting our bullish outlook here. And I think the whole ETF story is one of it, right? Like I think it is pretty. I mean, we can't really deny anymore that there's going to be a Solana ETF, like a spot ETF. It's going to come pretty sure. What are the facts right now that we have? What was the latest filing that we observed here?
Well, I mean, so there's kind of two things that's been going on recently, right? So Volatility Shares launched Solana's futures ETF on March 20th, right? So it's a contract that allows investors to long Solana, and there's actually two kind of funds, right? There's Sol Z as well as Sol T, and the main difference is kind of like I think 2x leverage on Sol via an ETF, which I didn't even realize you could do, but that just shows how ignorant I am about ETFs. So that's very sick. And the second one is that Fidelity, which is one of the largest financial services companies in not just the United States but the world, they registered in Delaware to have the Fidelity Solana Fund, also on March 20th. So this is all in preparation, obviously, for a Solana ETF, and I'm just very bullish on all this news. We're giving retail people who don't want to be on chain but do want Solana exposure, essentially the same investment opportunities that they have with Bitcoin right now. And look at how much Bitcoin has decoupled from altcoin prices like Ethereum and Solana, right? So this is now a game of catch up, and I love it.
True. There has been another future ETF, by the way, that we didn't mention. The CME Solana futures. Like it's also a big one. Like CME Group is, I think, the world's leading derivatives marketplace. So they're quite big, and they announced on the 18th of March their new Sol futures basically contract. And you can even it's pretty funny. You can even go to cmegroup.com/Solana to find out all about the future contract. So it's good to see the institutions being very, very kind of prone to interact with the Solana digital asset with Sol. That is a bullish signal. And it is deeply concerning to me that retail is still so bearish right now in the past weeks, while literally big asset managers and financial institutions are looking at Solana as a respected digital asset. together with big government entities being more prone to put out legislations and regulations for digital assets, United States amongst them, and the presidents or the government themselves are also hosting White House seminars about digital assets and crypto. Like so many bullish things on the institutional government side, while retail is kind of, on the fence and is a bit hesitant and bearish. It's kind of a divergence that I haven't seen before in crypto. And that is interesting to observe. And I think it might be a chance for us, for retail, because usually the big fishes, the whales, are leading the way, right? They are telling us what to do. So
I kind of feel like the part of the reason why retail is not properly reflecting news, like SEC has basically dropped their lawsuit against Ripple, XRP. Like, look, XRP is the first, I think, crypto I've ever bought, and I remember I told you that IRL, and then you literally physically bopped me on the head, and you're like, "What the fuck's the matter with you?" But
why Ripple?
All that aside, well, because there were no stable coins at the time, and so the thesis was that it would be the unit of exchange or account between banks, and that just doesn't make sense with stable coins anymore. But that's not the point. What's important is that the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple was one of the biggest lawsuits in the entire industry, and also kind of, you can think of it as the canary in the coal mine, right? Like if that lawsuit against Ripple went well, that spells disaster for a whole generation of crypto projects. But also the inverse is true. If Ripple wins their lawsuit against the SEC, that's incredibly bullish for the entire industry, and that is in fact what happened. They won by the SEC dropping the lawsuit. So very happy for Brad and the entire team. But obviously XRP probably shouldn't not have been my first investment into crypto back in the early 2016 it was. But yeah, I don't know, the markets have not been reflecting that, and that's quite interesting to see, I think, probably because of Trump and all the uncertainty he brings.
Yeah, we saw a big pump in Ripple after this announcement, by the way. So there was a big wick to the upside from the XRP chart that we saw at the announcement of the SEC filing there, or of the SEC war ending, which makes a lot of sense. So happy that this is over. This went for far too long, this whole SEC battle with Ripple. So yeah, it kind of matches the overall sentiment of government and crypto these days. So that's definitely exciting. And yeah, I think for now, like Trump is a bit crazy. We need to observe what's going on in the next weeks on that front. I think the next big market shakedown could be more tariff discussions. And I think that might happen in April. I've read some lines here and there that in early April, there will be more turbulences related to tariffs. So that obviously is always going to be a bit of volatility for the market because it creates uncertainties. That and some more war-related news. But for now, this looks like it's cooling off, at least in Ukraine and Russia, the conflict. So we will be observing. But for now, it looks good on the charts, at least, what's happening. And I think we will have more macro data next week and the week after to cover. But for now, I want to talk about Solami. What's happening on the Solana ecosystem? Are we ready to dive into some exciting announcements and launches on Solana?
Yeah. This is probably one of the first times this has ever happened on the podcast, but we have alpha before the official announcement that we've been greenlit to share. And that is Zeus Network, which had a very popular and successful token launch on Jupiter's LFG token launch platform last year, is going to be launching zBTC this Thursday. Oof. So this Thursday, there's going to be a launch of zBTC on Apollo, which is a multi-chain layer 2, I think, built on top of Solana, but used mostly to power zBTC. And one of the biggest draws for zBTC beyond, let's say, WBTC, is that it's completely permissionless. You don't need to do KYC. You don't need to do KYB. The market maker in this sense is the Solana network itself. And so you can swap or, get access to native BTC through zBTC, which is really cool. You don't need a centralized exchange or a market maker to do that. You just have a direct access permissionlessly to native BTC if you hold zBTC, and it's pegged 1-to-1 to Bitcoin, worked on by Peter as well as a Dean. Some of you might know Dean because he works on JupeNet for Jupiter, but he's also one of the co-founders of Zeus and Apollo. That's incredibly bullish, I think. Do you have any thoughts on zBTC, my friend?
I think I have the same view that I had a long time before, when I already touched on some of the more Zeus related topics when I first saw the project, which it's been a while. But it's good. It's a net positive for Solana because we are bringing more liquidity to Solana. Essentially, that's what we're doing. We're helping people that have Bitcoin exposure or that want more Bitcoin exposure to stay on Solana with their asset, and it will increase Solana TVL. So that will be added to the Solana total volume locked on our network, which is kind of a vanity metric, but I still believe that people are looking at TVL. So that's good for Solana. And if you want Bitcoin and you can't do it through zBTC, then you would buy it natively via some exchange probably, or some Bitcoin wallet, and you will hold it there, and it would be completely unrelated to Solami, which is always bad because we want liquidity on Solana, especially if you can use it for DeFi. Right, so I'm looking forward to having zBTC more integrated into some DeFi applications, because think about owning Bitcoin as your digital gold, as the safest crypto asset you can own, and then still being able to utilize it in Solana ecosystem, which has the best DeFi ecosystem in crypto, to get some additional yield. That is dope. That is cool. I want to, borrow against my Bitcoin. I want to, put it maybe in some pools against some meme coins, whatever people start doing. That would be exciting. And overall, yeah, I think very bullish on zBTC.
I think most people would be surprised, or maybe they're not, because if they look at their own portfolios, I think most Solana traders don't actually have Bitcoin exposure. They came during the NFT cycle, or they might have some, Bitcoin in a centralized exchange. But I mean, especially if you're focused mostly on meme coins and NFTs, like I just feel like they're kind of completely different circles in the Venn diagram. And so this would give them direct access to zBTC on Solana, but with Solana DeFi, which is, I think, amazing.
Exactly. So that is definitely a good thing. And yeah, great to be able to share some alpha here. Looking forward to the official announcement. Looking really forward to that this week.
Yeah. This next topic is related to kind of the use of AI in DeFi, but I'll be honest with you, I had a hard time wrapping my mind around this, and I don't understand how AI agents could work together to create their own hedge fund. I mean, in theory, I understand it, but practically speaking, I am skeptical.
Let's roll it back. Let's roll it back an inch here. I think first of all, obviously, Virtuous Protocol, one of the leading kind of AI players right now in the market, originally launched on Base and then also came to Solana. So now we have Virtuals.io also basically on Solana being active. And as part of the Virtuals agenda, the Virtuals roadmap, they're now working on ACP. You know what is ACP? I think it stands for
Agent Commerce Protocol.
Yeah, or Agent Commerce Protocol. Nice. Agent Commerce Protocol, AGC. That is the latest meal they've been cooking in the house. And what is it? It's basically an idea or concept to create sovereign companies, I would say, sovereign protocols, companies, however you want to call them, that consist of an agentic swarm of agents that collaborate together to fulfill a common mission. And that has been kind of the next big thing for AI anyway, like having agents collaborate together. And now we're putting this into a much more digestible and feasible, tangible project, which is ACP. So the Agent Commerce Protocol is trying to build a few products like the Autonomous Hedge Fund and Trading DAO, which is essentially that. It's a hedge fund, it's a trading DAO where agents work together with one goal, and it's usually make money. Return more money to investors more than they gave us. So that's actually a very simple model. And it consists often of what they call, if you scroll a bit down, they have a section also here for people who are watching the visual. They talk about the AI dream team. So they're talking about a few players here, basically a few agents that they want to throw in together in a team, and they all have different roles. And there is AI XVC, it's the private banker and trade executor. So basically, that's going to be an agent that assesses your risk profile, allocates capital, and so on and so on. You have AXPT, Degen, C, Trust, Swarm, Athena, some of them not too familiar with. Those are market scouts and insight gatherers. So basically, researchers, people that are looking for deal flow, they scour global markets for trending tokens and price signals, something agents are very good at and humans don't have to do. Then you have Loki in the team. It's an on-chain and social insights gatherer. Obviously, you need someone that, has a good grasp on what's happening on X. What are people talking about? What has mindshare? You have Beaver AI, the security gatekeeper, who audits every smart contract because you need to make sure that your investments are safe. And then last but not least, Moonwell and Chillfi, who are yield farming and stake trading agents. So they will lock your stable yields for low risk forks. So basically just an additional strategy to create more yield inside of the hedge fund. And like this, I just described basically a small team that could run a hedge fund. But in this case, these people are not real humans. Those are agents. And they shall work together to basically hand over tasks to each other and work in a team with a common goal, with a common vision. So that's pretty cool. And I think, this has been discussed very, very, very recently. We are referring here to an article from Dawn, who's leading ecosystem at Virtuals and at ACP. And he put out an article describing ACP in detail. So people can also check that out at 0xDawn. That's his handle, 0 with a 0.
Yeah, I look, man. Could you explain this to me? I mean, I met this team, like the co-founder, at Catstanbul, and like ostensibly they had moved to Solana. And I'm just looking at this, and all I see is just like EVM. So like, in what fucking way are they on Solana? I don't understand this at all.
This is just a concept for now. So ACP doesn't exist yet, right? Like, it's not, you can't really use it yet. This is just a conceptual draft. And he uses concepts and ideas and examples in that concept. And the examples he's been using here are, completely chain agnostic. Like, there's no, like some of these agents, they might exist on Base, some might exist on other ecosystems. As long as they create a protocol, and Virtuals is capable to, to launch agents on Solana. So basically, if the concept works, like if this concept of ACP itself, does something, it doesn't really matter where they accomplish these things. They could do it on Base first, and then we could have an ACP on Solana as well, that creates a hedge fund that is only Solana-centric, that trades Solana tokens, that creates Solana DeFi yield, and so on. But so if you scroll down, maybe you can lastly share this, not this graph, but there's another graph at the bottom of the this one. So basically it describes a little bit how an end user would actually interact with the ACP, so with the company, with the agent company. So he deposits his payment and provides job requests, and then the whole machinery starts tinkering. You have the you have all the marketing house. This is the example of a marketing company here, right? Not a hedge fund. So the user basically wants to create content or whatever, and then he deposits the payment, provides job requests, and then the ACP is executing these things. So yeah, we're not talking about something that is deeply Solana native, right? Just keep that in mind. We're talking about an AI topic. AI overall is going to be capable, or is already accelerating a lot of things in crypto. And we want AI also to be able to, and agents to be able to work on Solana. So we need to make sure that these kind of things exist on Solana as well. And we have that because Virtuals is here.
Yeah. I mean, so the reason why I'm making this like grumpy, scrunched up face is because I have been talking with a lot of teams about their agentic flows, and
Yeah.
there's this one service that someone turned me on to, and they said like you should really experiment with this so that you can, because really it's like Jupyter ultra mode versus manual mode, right? So like ultra mode. The AI equivalent of this, like set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about any of this shit. Is like Claude or even ChatGPT, right? Like you just ask whatever you want to ask, and it just spits out what probabilistically you want to hear. But whereas like there are many services now that allow you to do Jupyter's version of manual mode, right? You can get down to every setting. You can decide, like you can try to make how the answers to your questions more deterministic, and like you can decide in which case do they loop again or do they stop. So I appreciate all that, but like my whole thing is that even I mean because I'm a very heavy at least ChatGPT user. I mean it hallucinates all the fucking time. Like it doesn't finish requests competently, or even if it does, it's like it's not particularly good at specifically what I'm looking at. And some people might say skill issue, you suck at prompting, and that might be true. But it's like I look at an agentic flow where there are multiple points of failure. Like some people will call it a flow, but I call it multiple points of failure, right? In order for you to get the desired output, you literally need every single part of the ecosystem to do its job, not just well, but the best, right? To get the output that you need. And so, by the way, this isn't me saying that like AI agents are not going to be a thing, or that this is not important, or like we shouldn't be doing this. That's not what I'm saying at all. I just think that we're
not there yet.
We're so no, I think we're so far away from this kind of future that people are talking about. It's like I want to see better performance of the agent itself in a sandbox before I get really comfortable telling other people like, oh, this is like the next big thing. But it's also maybe skill issue. I suck at prompting, or I don't understand exactly what the agents are trying to do. But I don't know. How much confidence would you have in a DeFi AI agent network? I'm not even talking about this particular project, but having like, let's say, $10,000 of your money to do its own thing. I mean, I think my answer to that is no. I wouldn't fucking touch that with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't convince me otherwise. Not in the next year. So, I mean, but that's just me. So I wonder how you feel about that.
It will all come down to results and to proof. And I think we're not too far away. Like as soon as these things are fucking doing something and they're actually producing outcome and they're producing yield, and you have a product that you look at and you're like, oh, I click this button, I deposit, I wait a month, I get more money back. Wait a second. Because technically it all makes sense conceptually. But yes, we're not there yet. But conceptually it all makes sense. And keep in mind, with AI right now, things are accelerating as fuck. Like things are so quick. They're evolving so quick. Take a look at the latest improvements of image generation, moving image generation, image editing. Grok just featured or launched their new image editing feature where you can literally, and I did that. I actually want to show that, by the way, before we continue the Solana stuff. But I tried to edit a picture of myself, basically because I wanted to check how good it is, because they just launched this feature, and it's very creepy. So just be ready. But this is what happened. So I uploaded a picture of myself, right? First of all, yes, I'm bored there. Make the person on the picture look excited, right? Which is hugely difficult. It's a very difficult task for an agent to take an existing picture, a portrait with a face, and make the face look excited, right? And then this guy came out there, right? Which is the same picture. I mean, he looks crazy. He looks like a lunatic. He's gonna kill you probably in a moment. But still, it's not bad. Like it's not. I could use this for a thumbnail or some shit. Like I can do things with that, right? So all I'm saying is this wasn't possible a month ago, right? And this is moving forward. And if you like, I have a few friends that are in the OF game. They work with like OnlyFans management, blah blah blah. Bro, this is insane. Like 50% there is actually not human anymore. It's completely ridiculous. Like all these girls are fucking AI avatars, and they like there's one guy, he created a whole family. He has like a mother, a daughter,
Oh,
like,
bro.
and they're, yeah,
Oh,
I
bro.
know, and,
Bro.
I know, but they have profiles on Instagram. They have millions of followers. They have
Oh, bro.
OF. This guy prints money every month because people are paying money to see naked pictures of an AI generated person and then chat with that person. But that person is obviously some Philippine guy that is just, very quickly at typing, that they hired for the chat function. So, but I mean, I'm drifting away here a bit, but AI is very quickly evolving, and I think, yes, we're not there yet, but give it some time. Give it some time, and let's talk again in half a year.
Okay, let me make a very bold prediction. None of this
Let's go.
AI DeFi shit is gonna take
Yeah.
off in the next 5 years. I'll put it that way.
5 years.
That's my timeline.
Okay.
That's my timeline.
All right.
I think
Okay.
yeah. I'll put money on it too. I'll put like
How much?
10 I'll put like 10 INF on it. INF is Sanctum's yield bearing soul. So
Okay.
I'll put 10 INF. I'll put 10 INF if in the next, and I
That's
mean
a lot of
like
money.
I want a Jupiter. I mean, not right now, but I
Okay.
want a Jupiter of like here's my standard, right? I really want a Pump.Fun or a Jupiter. Okay, none of this like, like we have some mid-level protocol. Like that's not what I'm talking about. Like I want to see this take off where it's actually like being used in the same way that Pump.Fun and Jupiter are, like actual real consumer usage of AI agentic flows. I call bullshit. I don't think we're like even close to where we need to be, not as close as people want you to think. So all these narratives about like where AI is going to be like in the next year with your DeFi, like trading all your positions, I think total horseshit. And I'm sorry if you're working on one of these protocols, but I don't believe you. So I want to see it. Prove me wrong. 10 sold 10 INF to Simon. If you prove me wrong.
5 years is a long time. So since 5 years is a long time, I'm gonna take the bet against you and see where we go. Because
sure, no problem.
Because I think,
call bullshit.
I mean it is horseshit right now, but I also think that 5 years in the crypto and XAI sector is a long fucking time. So
it's true.
Let's see.
Okay,
what else?
We'll see.
What else is exciting? What are we looking at Solana?
Okay, this is less to do with like new product launches, even though it's kind of phrased that way, but kind of more to do with just there's so for people who have historical context, Pump.Fun was a platform or is a platform that allows you to launch meme coins without having to write any code. For its time, it was a revolution because you actually had to be a real developer, not like what they call devs these days, but like a real developer who knows how to code to launch your own token. And Pump.Fun, in a sense, democratized this without having to need that much startup capital to begin with, for you to launch your own token. And of course, they didn't have their own DEX. And so they needed a DEX partner, a decentralized exchange partner that they could work with, so that they could create pools, right? These are liquidity pools of, the native token and USDC, or the native token and Sol, right? So they partnered with Radium, and Radium at the time before Pump.Fun was launched was smaller than Orca, and now Orca's market share has decreased considerably. I think they're like the 11th largest DEX now. They used to be number one, and Radium, I don't know if they're the largest DEX on Solana, and I don't count Jupiter. Jupiter is an aggregator. I know that Meow hates it when people call it that, but that's what it is. It's an aggregator of all the DEXs, right? And so Radium had this huge kind of historical spike, right? So they were on top, and it was because of this, all this locked TVL from Pump.Fun tokens, right? The meme coins paired with USDC and Sol. And now, Simon, what's going on between we got two tweets here. We got one with Nick O'Neill and we got one with Pump.Fun. What happened here, Simon? What's going on between Radium and Pump.Fun?
Like the children are fighting. They're having a fight. They're trying to compete. Yeah, I mean, Radium launched their own Pump.Fun competitor called Launch Lab. That's what Nick O'Neill is reporting here. So yeah, nobody has managed to compete yet. That's true with Pump.Fun. Radium is definitely an important player, but are they too late? Probably. What is Pump.Fun doing on the other side? Well, they're introducing a native DEX. Pump swap. I don't know. I'm just like, when I see this, I'm just genuinely unexcited. I'm just, I'm just seeing this. I'm like, okay, cool, and now I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Are we
Well,
should we be more excited about what's happening here, or am
no,
I
I'm not.
am I
I'm
wrong?
not excited
Yeah.
for. And by the way, Stendhal, if you're watching this, I love you, brother. But I'm just gonna speak facts for a second. So if you get mad at me, don't cancel me. I'm sorry. Stendhal is one of the co-founders of Radium. But
Okay.
here's the thing: who really has power in this situation? In my personal opinion, it's not Radium. You know, who really has power in this situation is who controls the end user, and Pump.Fun controls the end user. So this Radium launch lab, very skeptical that it's going to work. Very, very skeptical. That being said, Pump.Fun, Pump Swap, own native DEX. I think that they're going to find out very quickly that building out a DEX is not as easy as they think it is. That's what I think. So, it is true that I think Pump.Fun actually has much more leverage in this situation, and they probably make so much money now that they could hire out. They could buy the Radium team probably. I mean, I don't know if I'm sorry, Stendhal, but that's how much money they got. But yeah, I think they'll find that making their own decks from scratch, even with all the money in the world, is a thankless and difficult job. So we will see how that goes. But I'm actually skeptical in both ways. I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of leads to a meltdown for both products. I mean, Radium is going to be fine, but I could see their market share decreasing significantly. Pump.Fun, I could actually see them fucking up on the deck side. Actually, it's not that I could see it, it's that I'm hoping for it. They fuck up on the deck side and then they just disappear. So, some sort of hack on the decks, which I don't want to happen. Yeah, I shouldn't want that. I apologize. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. Do you see what I mean, though? Am I crazy? I just don't think that they're well suited for this.
I'm not in the position to say, though. I can observe them from the outside, but I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know the people that are actually building this. I would have to talk to the whole dev team to make my judgment call here. So from my very subjective point of view, which is a very unqualified assumption, is that this looks bad and might be a bad product. But again, I have no idea. I have no clue. What are the facts, by the way? The facts are that the Pump Swap is introducing creator revenue sharing. So if you create a coin, you earn fees on every trade, which is something I haven't seen around yet, I think. Yeah. So that's something they kind of came up with. Then you have instant migrations, frictionless trading. So basically, the tokens can just directly migrate or bond on Pump now, I guess, instead of going to Radium. They have more say in that process, so there's no bonding fees, which saves users money. You can create pools for free. So yeah, like a few kind of things they try to do to be more distinguished, I would say. And yeah, if you want to find out more about it, you can just go to swap.pump.fun and play around with it and make your own opinion on it. But they asked, why did we build this? From day one, our goal was to create the most frictionless environment for trading coins. Was it? Migrations were a major point of friction. They slow a coin's momentum and introduce needless complexity for new users. Yeah, okay, migrations. Yeah, so now they happen instantly and for free because they don't migrate on Radium. They migrate on Swap. What's it called? Swap.fun? Pump.swap? Swap.fun?
Pump swap.
Yeah, whatever.
Swappy pump a swap. But they wrote these last few tweets specifically for people like me who are just worried about the security risk. They said they've completed 9 audits. There's literally only, I think, OtterSec and Sec3. I know them very well. So they claim that they've done 9 audits, and they even have 2 million in prizes up for grabs for auditing competition. Okay, well, you know what? That is my main concern. For users, whether or not their funds will get rugged on a completely new DEX. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Anyway, there's more. There's more in Solana. It's not just Zeus launching zBTC. It's not just some news from Pump.Fun. There's also gold being tokenized on Solana in a more professional way. What the heck are we talking about here? What are we looking at? Oro.
So first of all, Usman, we know Usman, right? Like we met him over at Founders Villa. Shout out to Alex and Super Team UAE. But yeah, My understanding is, they're just gold on chain. That's all it is. And people have asked like, how is it collateralized? It's collateralized with gold, bro. It's not. It's not that complicated. But you can use it in DeFi, right? So obviously you can borrow and lend against it. I don't know what platforms um, Oro is based at but yeah, they have a super stacked investment table, which includes Cash, Nam from Bonk, Anna from Perenna, and just Arnold from Sphere. Like every possible founder that you would want to be an investor in a tokenized gold startup, like those are the people that you would want. It's like Cash, Nam, Anna, Arnold. So this is like an all-star list. So
Yeah, I'm almost jealous for their success here. But good job. That was actually a very good round, because I love to see all these Solana OGs chipping in there. But
Yeah.
you know why? Because it's a very easy storyline. He literally laid it out in the tweet thread here. Like, he compares gold with, like, first of all, gold has a very strong foothold in the world since a while, longer than anything else. And yeah, you can't do anything with it. It's a dead asset. Like, if it literally is a dead asset if you bury it below your fucking house and you wait for hard times and then unbury it, but it's not doing anything. So he wants to create yield opportunities for your gold, and that's basically the best way you can do this is by tokenizing it. So it's an RWA play. It promises yield between 3 to 4%. You can borrow against it or trade it seamlessly. And yeah, that's what's happening. What is the state of the company right now? I think you can at least go to orogold.app and you can join the waitlist, but you are not able yet to do anything. That's my latest stand here. Yeah.
It's funny that it seems like this team has won out in the gold arms race, because bro, there's so many teams that are trying to launch tokenized RWA whatever, right? Fucking even uranium too.
Yep, we saw that before.
Yeah, we did. Uranium, for people who know the joke, uranium tipped umbrellas to the ass. But that's a whole thing. But I'm really glad that it was Usman and Oro that won the arms race, because again, I get pitched tokenized gold all the time. I just feel like a big part of this is, how are you collateralizing it? Like, where exactly is the gold, right? What's your custody solution? And also, do we fucking trust you? And quite frankly, I get a little nervous whenever I talk to teams who are like, I owned an emerald mine. My family owns an emerald mine, and we would like to tokenize emeralds. It's like, can I see the emeralds real quick? Are the emeralds in the room here with us? But Usman is a quality founder and a great guy. So looking really forward to using gold on chain, especially as a collateral. Like what I think. Where I think Oro will really find product market fit isn't so much, I'll be frank, retail. Like, why the fuck would retail buy gold, right? They would just buy Bitcoin. I think the real power of gold on chain is institutions wanting to use tokenized gold in DeFi, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. So I don't think the main focus here is retail. Could be wrong. I think the main focus here is other stablecoin issuers that want to use gold as part of their asset basket, or even institutions that want to trade gold on chain. I know Flash Trade had I think it was 100x leverage on gold. I'm wondering whether or not they're using Oro. Wouldn't be surprised. So yeah.
Yeah, not sure if that's needed for their setup, but maybe at some point. They just need to tap into the gold price, really, the live gold price, and then create liquidity for it. But I've seen it around since a while. I was just checking as well. For example, there's like a exchange there's an exchange, a centralized exchange in Europe that has been doing similar things, obviously in a in a permissioned way, since a while. Bitpanda, they have listed silver, gold, and other commodities since like 3 years or some shit, or 2 years. So the whole, it's funny because the whole this is not new, but someone has to do it right, especially in the permissionless way and then tokenized way. But yeah, these guys, Bitpanda has also found a way to do it. 3 years ago, they just put the fucking gold somewhere in Switzerland, some vault. I don't know, like the gold that they use. Like that's just how it works. And you pay some. You pay a fee.
We don't
like
talk
rent.
about we don't talk about where Swiss gold comes from.
Yeah, that goes beyond our topics here, our agenda. Back to the agenda, back to the agenda.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself.
What are we talking about next here? Actually, I like the next topic is big, so I'm ready for it. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, we're talking about the same thing, Orca, right?
Yeah, bro, it's huge.
Yeah,
I mean,
after you, man.
I think Orca just has pulled off, like it was such a almost like a comeback, like because Orca has been around for a long time, and you're better than myself to describe this. When have you first met people from Orca, and when was your first kind of time that you actually used the product? What's the backstory between Inu and Orca?
My first hacker house where we launched my previous stablecoin ISC. That's the first time I met the Orca team. It was in Vietnam. So there were, I think, 2 or 3 team members from Orca there at the time. Actually, one of them very, very well, KZ from Chomp. She used to be the head of BD and operations over at Orca. Nice. And then I also met Riku, RG, who's now heading up the BD efforts over at Orca, as well as Chris.Soul, who currently, working for Super Team and working on a bunch of other initiatives in the ecosystem. So they were all at Orca at the time. And I had pitched ISC on stage, and RG told me afterwards they had a discussion about our project and, hey, maybe we should have some ISC in the treasury as a yield bearing component. And he said, no, it's a scam. Don't.
No.
He said I was a scammer. He's like, the project is a scam. Shit. This is a scam. Yield bearing stablecoin makes no, because he didn't pay attention, right? And then I met him over at Founders Villa, and then he told me that story, and then we had a laugh about it. And he's like, "Oh, okay, good. I see. It's yield bearing from RWA. That makes sense." But yeah, he didn't understand my pitch. Didn't like my pitch in Vietnam, and my first impression and interaction with the Orca team was that, RG thought I was a fucking scammer, and I've been hanging out with him all week. So. Fuck you, RG. You asshole.
No, great guy. Very, very helpful man. Actually, actually that was the first time the two of us really had a conversation was with him in the room, right? When we smoked shisha.
Yeah, shisha. Yeah, actually, that's the first time that I tried to convince you to come to Solana, and then you had more conversations after that. So, like, I'm not saying I'm the reason. I'm just saying it was literally, I think, Riku and I. Yeah, but Riku and I, like, until 3 a.m., we're just so like, why are you on Ethereum and you come to Solana?
Yeah, that was a good conversation, not gonna lie. So Orca definitely a base team, like been around for a long time. A lot of ex-Orca employees now doing their own initiatives on Solana. Great to see as well. That means they have people that care about the ecosystem. We already covered the liquidity terminal 2 weeks back, I think, when we first talked about their first soft launch of it. And now it's on mainnet. So the liquidity terminal phase 1 is on mainnet. They are talking about a phase 2 update coming soon as well. So that's a big product update. The liquidity terminal makes it easier to provide liquidity to liquidity positions, and has a nice visualization of this on the screen where you can literally see the range you're providing liquidity to, and so on and so on. So that is just a cool product, and the community likes it. I think very positive feedback. And not only have we seen very positive feedback from the community for the product, we also see very positive feedback for the token, actually. So before we check the product out more, let me just quickly pull this up. My good friend Gumshoe talked about it as well. Reasons why the token pumped: Upbit, Korean sex listing. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, Upbit listed Orca. Yes. Then Orca also introduced a revenue sharing model for stakers. They launched the new liquidity terminal, which you just mentioned, and they have a creator liquidity lock, which is also a feature that's just like, needed in the ecosystem. So that's also possible in Orca now. So in addition to nonstop shipping, they have also been increasing their marketing efforts. You can see that because they're posting more on X. At least I have the feeling they're a bit more active, like something is happening in the back. That is good. They seem to have some sort of roadmap again, marketing agenda. They're talking about shit. And what happened to the token? The token fucking pumped as shit. It doubled. It doubled in price, at least, I think even more, in the current market environment, which is pretty crazy. 7,000 8,000% increase in trading volume, 24 trading volume. That is pretty insane. I think I need to get listed on Upbit. My goodness, like this is a very good this is a very good result here that we're looking at for the token. So well played, Team Orca. Well played for the token. Really happy that this worked out.
Yeah, I mean, if I can give a little bit more context and information here, like Upbit is not only one of the, I mean, it is the top exchange in Korea, but it's also a top 10 exchange in the world, right? If not top 5. And in the past, Orca was founded by 2 Japanese folks. I mean, culturally Japanese. They're from different places in the world. I won't go too much into that. And they decided to go more into operations. I think that they didn't have that much fun leading the company so much as that they really wanted to get their hands dirty again. So, for example, the CEO went back to being the CTO because he's like, look, I could lead the team, but I miss writing code, right? So he's back on the product side now. And we've kind of had a generational shift. Now we're in the second generation of Orca leadership. Not only is there Nathan, who's kind of leading the whole operation now, based out of the States, I believe, but there's also 2 other key, I mean, there's a lot of key team members, but 2 of the new key team members in leadership positions are Korean American / Korean.
Yeah.
So
cool.
That's how Mikey, who takes care of the Orca Twitter and socials, has obviously been doing a very, very good job. And not only is there Mikey, but also Isaac, I believe, is the COO of Orca now. He's Korean American, I think, based out of New York or maybe LA. I'm not quite so sure. But yeah, he's also been working pretty hard on the strategy side. So I think that Orca is definitely, the vibes are back for Orca, and the liquidity terminal is just the first thing out of many products that I'm sure that they'll ship.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, pretty good. I think I'm happy with it. I like Orca as a product. I like the team. Let's keep it coming. Phase 2 of liquidity terminal, something we can look out for, whatever that means. We don't know yet. But I think it's coming soon, and we'll cover it.
Yeah. Let's just kind of run through these next few topics pretty quickly. We're moving on to the cultural section of the Soul Brothers podcast, right? So first off, Low Life Forms, and I believe Low Life Forms is a game. It's a first-person shooter, and it's actually developed by not only people from Adult Swim, which was one of my favorite, channels to watch when I was a kid, but also some devs from Call of Duty. So that's phenomenal, and they are now top 5 of all games. On Epic Games. It's not just like Web3 games, but specifically like just games in general. So that's amazing.
Yeah, and they got even featured from the Solana account, which gave a shout out to Low Life Forms, and because that's what we want to see in Solana, right? We want to see more adoption of Solana stuff, and if a Solana game is being featured in a top 5, then obviously this is very good. Epic Games also, not a small venue, but yeah, you're totally right as well. I think the founder and CTO worked on the Call of Duty engine during his time with Activision, Infinity Ward, and some other companies.
Sure.
And then you have very crypto OGs in there. Boring Dad is a great guy. He's also leading the company as CEO in crypto since like many years, I think 2016 or something, and doing more of the creative work behind the scenes, jumping on some Twitter spaces once in a while. So pretty crack team. The studio that is building Low Life Forms is called Right Trigger. They are basically behind the game. They might have other things to work on in the future, but Low Life Forms for now is their basically their most important game. It is not totally live yet. You can't really play it, but there's a lot of real how do you call it, like when they play the game. There's a lot of kind of playing the game on X. You can see it in the video, and they're also pretty soon launching. So they've been talking about this for a while. Let's see what they're going to ship. I'm excited.
Yeah. And in other culture news, there's this this infamous video that was launched from the Solana main account. It features a therapist who is speaking to an actor who represents America,
He's quite
quite American, right? And he's got the American flag on the lapel. And towards the end of the video,
like that's
right,
his name is actually American.
Yeah. I think towards the end of this video, there was some line about how, we don't make up new things like gender. I forget exactly what the joke was, but it was
the whole video is about that. Like the whole ad is about that. The whole ad is basically about, hey, like America needs to focus on the real shit. Let's not stop about, gender pronouns and shit.
No.
Let's focus.
No, that was at the end. That was at the end. The first 2 minutes of the video. If you didn't have that last minute of the video, there was no gender joke. It was more about America used to be about progress and shit, and now it's not, and we're so stuck in the past. But it was just really one line towards, I want to say a minute 50 or so. They took a cheap shot at transgender / multi-gender folks. I don't know where people on this podcast fit in terms of ideology. I don't really give a shit. And we'll talk about that in a second. And there's this tweet from Totally. It was so basically backlash. Like people hated that video, right?
Yeah.
And then Totally was defending the video almost immediately after it was released. But then upon some reflection, he said, the ad was bad and it's still gnawing at my soul. I'm ashamed I downplayed it instead of just calling it what it was, mean and punching down on a marginalized group. I'm grateful for the ecosystem devs and artists that immediately called it what it was, both publicly and privately. You were the only silver lining in this whole mess. I'll do whatever I can to make sure Solana Foundation stays focused on the mission of decentralization, open source software development, and out of culture wars. I got so many thoughts here. I don't know. Some of them I feel comfortable sharing and others I don't. But I'm wondering, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking the ad was dope and I'm sad they deleted it.
Really?
I just read my co-founder's words in the comment section. But I actually, I do. I also, it resonates with me as well because I think the ad was dope. But I'm a simple man, I like funny things.
Really?
I don't really give a shit about politically edgy kind of things. And I was like, my first thought was, oh, smart marketing department, playing with all these cliches and stuff. And you're triggering the right people. That's what I was thinking. Because we're in Solana, usually we're building, we're tech accelerists, right? We don't give a shit about what happens left and right. We just want to build fucking technology and progress the world forwards and focus on the good things. And I think they tried to create a video that makes people like this think, okay, cool, that's funny. That actually, media is talking shit. I can't trust the media. I trust X. They only talk about gender pronouns. I want to talk about latency. Let's just focus on on the good stuff. And that was the whole point of the video. So yeah, I think it was cool. I think it was not bad.
Interesting. So the thing is, I didn't realize what people were mad at first because the thing that they were mad about came so late in the video. But I was trying to figure out what people hated about the video, and for the first 2 minutes, the joke hadn't come out yet. And the only thing I could think to myself was they picked the wrong actors. These guys suck at acting. I'm sorry, I don't know who these people are. I'm sure you're a lovely person trying to make it in your acting career, but you suck. You're a bad representation of America. You're just bad. You're too skinny to be the voice of America. You're too skinny and insignificant. I mean, even the script was kind of mid. I mean, it's it felt like an AI script. The therapist was too pushy and kind of weird. Her vibe was weird. It didn't really feel, I don't know, just the whole everything about this video I hated. And then when they got to the joke, I didn't find the joke to be incredibly offensive. I found it to be kind of eye roll, but I mean, look, I'm not transgender, so if I was trans, maybe I'd feel very different about this. But I was just okay, lame joke. But the real crime here is the script and the actors. They suck. So
that's actually
that
a good point. Yeah, I mean, Solana has done much better clips, overall, without the whole political discussion here or the ethical discussion here. They've done, you remember that ad with the ETH Maxi and with the doctor where they talked, oh, you have ETH, how do they call it again? You have some sickness and it's being an ETH Maxi, and you're getting more layers and layers. And that was actually fucking funny. And also shots fired, this. Then back then they fired at ETH Maxis. Now they're firing at at gender discussions. But Yeah, the
Well,
post, the post was successful. I think the ad was successful because it made people like us talk about it.
no, I disagree. No, I think Pierre is fucking wrong about this one. He's all like, look, more views is strictly better. That's just not true, right? Like, in a world in which you have no standards and you don't really care what you have to sacrifice to get those views, then fine, right? But like, and again, I'm not looking at this from the angle of, culture war. That's actually what I'm not talking about at all. It's I think at a certain size, negative attention is strictly negative attention. It's not like there are lines, and I'm not talking about cultural lines. I'm saying I'm again, I am not talking about the joke. I'm talking about like what you sacrifice. Like if we were talking about an extreme scenario, like FTX getting attention is not a good thing. Like right, there is a line, a theoretical line, where you say, "Oh, the attention was not worth the fuck up," or whatever it is, right? Right, but also what Pierre is talking about is an ad, right, which is very different from news. So Pierre's probably thinking to himself, that's news, that's not an ad. Fair enough, right? But even for an ad, if you get enough negative attention on it, I think, especially depending on your size, like if you're trying to grow the account, kind of makes sense to max out your impressions and be controversial. But I mean, look at what that's done for MarginFi, right? Like MarginFi always had this negative get attention at all costs. And I don't really have a problem with McBrennan. I know people in my life have a problem with McBrennan. I personally don't have a problem with him. He's been very nice to me, except for online. He's a dick online. But like it's weird because person to person and in the messages, he's actually kind of a nice guy. But then like online, he's always like starting shit. And I actually think that all that negative attention kind of made people feel a certain type of way about MarginFi, and they've kind of disappeared off the map, whereas like Camino has grown significantly. And I do wish the best for the MarginFi team. I really mean that, but I think that's just a great illustration of not all attention is good, right? Especially if you're at a certain size. At a certain size, you need to rotate more skew towards positive. But I guess point taken to a degree.
Fair point. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's move on.
Yeah, you want to talk about this makes me feel a lot better. I like this news. The one of the first schools, I think maybe the first school in the world, funded 100% through Solana. That's absolutely amazing. So there's all kinds of ways that they're raising money. One of them is Talaga Sol, for the Talaga charity, and the yield that comes from Talaga Sol. So that's MEV rewards, that's block rewards, that's also whatever emissions that they're getting. I mean, Simon, you run a validator now. I mean, you're familiar with all the yield that you can get, as a validator. Ain't that correct?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what they did? They spun up a validator as well?
I don't know if they have a validator per se, but they do have a LST. Yeah. So it's either that they've delegated to Blaze. I believe they're working with Blaze. So they've either Blaze is running their validator or they're running their own validator, but they get a cut of the revenue. And also,
gotcha.
You can donate any SPL token to talagacharity.sol. And the CMO for Talaga Charity is actually Ashen, who I think most people know Ashen. But yeah, Ashen works with Sphere, is obviously a creator in the Jupiterverse as well. But yeah, he's hoping to promote and gain awareness for Talaga. Yeah. So that's great for them. They're building out schools in Indonesia. So assalamu alaikum, and I know it's Ramadan right now, so I hope all my Muslim friends, you're having a good Ramadan, and congratulations on getting this school done over in Indonesia.
Cool. Yeah, props. That's really cool. It's a nice project.
Yeah.
We need more of that on the timeline.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get more.
Yeah. And I think we have one last thing, and that's I want you to cover it because actually you're the one who's going.
Yeah, for sure. There's a few events actually coming up. Technically you're also going somewhere. Like you're just returning from Winter Arc, I would say. Like I think this should be wrapped up very soon. I think it's over, right?
Yes, it's over.
Winter Arc in Japan is over. So has all his merch ready to roll. Oh, that looks cool actually.
Yeah.
You could play in a boy band or something with that, like in Korean. I like that. So Winter Arc, that just happened. Next up, Sri Lanka. Yeah. That's still on the agenda for you. So
yeah, going to Sri Lanka next. Yeah, going to Forma.
So there's Forma happening. Already kicked off as well. So that's happening. And then there's Cape Town as well. So Cape Town is having the Solana Apex Summit, or not Apex Summit, the Solana Apex Cape Town, which is happening on the 28th. Yeah, on the 28th of this month. So this coming week, or this week on Friday. And Apex is going to be just a get together of builders in Cape Town. And around Apex, they're also organizing the Solana Founders Retreat, which is just a small kind of co-working event, I would say, with a bit of agenda as well for Solana founders. And I was I was so blessed to be accepted to join this one as well. So I'll be flying down to Cape Town. Just talking to the people on site. And I've never been there, actually. I've never been to South Africa. So this is going to be my first time in Cape Town. Just a short trip, just like 5 days. But it will be fun. It will be good. I think there's some good people down there. Ellie from Foundation is organizing the retreat and the helping with the Apex. I see Akshay in the group chat. Not sure if he's also in that corner of the world. And then there's like a few cool builders that are gonna be there as well. I know Selene from SNS already pinged me that she will be around. There's Seb from Phase Labs. Shout out also to you, Seb, who's gonna be down there. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna meet. Looking forward to meet some cool people in this Solana Eco down in Cape Town.
You're missing the most important person you're gonna meet.
Who's that?
He's the best video editor on Solana.
Yeah, I know what you mean. True. Actually, that's true. The best video editor on Solana. Also a South African gentleman, Caveman. I'm going to see you. See you soon.
Love you, buddy. So, I mean, I'm very happy to go to Forma and check out Sri Lanka, and I understood the logic of divide and conquer. We were originally both supposed to go to Forma, but I think the logic there was, let's try to expand our network as much as possible. Like, I mean, like,
coming to you.
I mean, as Simon knows, like, my network is Simon's network, and Simon's network is my network. So it's just kind of like, but Pierre is going to be there, which is great as well. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous of Cape Town Apex.
I'm
That's
jealous
gonna be
of
a lot of
Forma,
fun.
bro. Like you can't be everywhere.
Right.
You can't be everywhere.
Can't be everywhere, unfortunately.
That is what it is. But it was a pleasure again to host this beautiful podcast with you. I think we covered some ground. We talked about prices. What is Solana doing right now? Let's see if we missed something important. But I think we're still doing what it's doing. So let's see how this week goes. The week started in a very bullish momentum for crypto. At least we got some breakouts on the charts, so that's good. It's good to see Solana creeping up to the $140 level again. I'm excited about that. We have some exciting launches coming up this week. We have not only Zeus launching a new product, we also have Solana ID launching something probably very soon. We didn't cover this yet because we haven't really announced anything. This is pure alpha, but you might see some teasers here and there in the coming days that will also talk about a new product on the Solana ID horizon, which will be arguably the biggest launch of Solana ID, I would say. That might happen very soon as well. So looking forward to that. Big week for everyone here. Thank you so much for joining this podcast. Everyone in the live stream, thank you guys for tuning in to the live stream as well. And if you listen to this on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, or even on YouTube with the visual, then thanks for being part of the Soul Brothers network and our beautiful ecosystem here. Make sure to stay subscribed, follow us on X as well, because we are posting really cool short clips on X that give a good summary on what we are diving deeper into here during the pod. So make sure to give us a follow on X as well. Any last words? Did I miss anything, or are we good to go?
We're good to go. There's going to be a lot that comes out of Solana this week. I have obviously been probably at like 10% or 20% energy of where I'm usually at. I am exhausted from fucking Winter Arc. I can't wait to come back next week with like way more hype vibes. I'm pretty gassed right now, but I couldn't ask for a better podcast partner. Simon, you really carried this one, so I appreciate that.
Thanks, no worries, I got you covered, and you survived it. You survived it very well. You've been a great co-host as always. So thank you guys, and see you at the next pod. Peace out.
Adios.
EP number, what was it? 21.
21. Yep.
Alrighty. Cool. We're still live. We have one more thing to do as well.